welcome in. I'm your host, Lady Blaze, and joining me are my two beautiful co-hosts, Smiley J and Lady T. How you doing, ladies?
Hello.
Hey,
So I don't know about you all, but being a Georgia girl, it makes me happy to sit around the table, have good conversation, food and drink. So that's what we want to do. We are welcoming you to bridge the gap, close the distance, and have a seat with us at the table to have these hard conversations from a male and a female perspective because we don't have all the answers. So don't get on here and say, hey, they told us to leave my husband. That's not what the fuck we said to do. No, we did. We didn't say that. What we said was we have done or we have experienced. That's what we're talking about. So come on and sit down with us. Let's talk. All right, ladies. Let's talk about being a woman to start with. Because in order for us to do anything, we had to have learned how to be a woman. Or did we learn how to be a woman?
we definitely did.
You learned? I didn't.
Yes, it was.
I
It
was
was
winging
definitely
it.
taught. It was definitely taught.
I mean, but it could have been taught by observation, or it could have
Right,
been taught by actually walking through and showing. Or you could have saw something and you said, "Hey, that ain't what I want to be," and you
right.
chose to be other than. So I mean, I can see the talk part, but I think we grew into our womanhood, so it's okay to have different perspectives. But I think in the growing process, we did learn things. So I can see where talk can fall in there, right? Because we
Right.
Right.
observed or somebody told us and we tried and we realized, okay, that worked for you, it don't work for me. So I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. You know, I always like to ride that horse. I'm sorry, I'm on both sides right now today.
Oh
Right.
yeah, I
And I
mean
mean, I
that's
think it's
fine.
a mixture of both.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it can be
Because
a
I
mixture of
learned
both.
a lot of things from the women that were around me. I had aunts, of course I had my mother. I had well, I won't say I had a sister. You know, I've learned from the women that were in my life. I don't want to do that shit. I
Right.
don't want to do what y'all
Right.
did. So, from my perspective, I don't think that as a young woman, I was taught how to be a young woman. I feel like I fell into it. I fell into becoming a woman when I became a mother, all at the same time. And that was the most stressful time of my life because I was figuring it out. Nobody really said, so we can go back to school. People that taught us in school. People in school teach us about sex education, things not to do. Well, they don't really say don't do it. They just say, hey, protect yourself when you do it. That's what they tell you. So if you come from the environment that I come from, my environment was grandmama and granddaddy together, sleeping in separate beds most of the time. Is that a marriage? Is that a good relationship to model after? I don't know.
Once again, that goes back to you taking from something you saw what you wanted,
Right.
right? So you observe things on a regular basis and you decide. I
I
grew
don't
up
want.
I grew up in an environment that my parents raised me in, having both parents for majority of my life living in the same household. They gave us this cookie cutter, perfect, happy go lucky life. You know what I'm saying? And we traveled the world because I'm a military brat. You know, we did it all. And you find out later that that happy go lucky picture perfect shit was just a picture. Because my dad was cheating on my mama the whole goddamn time. He had an outside child. My mama found out, they got divorced, and it left me in a world of, oh, what the fuck, right? So my 11th
Mhm.
grade year in high school, I thought I was perfect Patty with the perfect happy mom and dad and happy household and happy everything, and found out later that all that shit was just play. So I
Yeah.
had to realize, okay, now it's time for me as an individual, as a woman, as a young lady, to decide what I will tolerate, what I won't tolerate, who I will allow to get close to me, who I won't allow to get close to me. Because the first person to break my trust, all BS aside, was my father. Because I had what I thought was what some people didn't have. And in all reality, it wasn't real. So yes, we're taught how to be people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We learn from life experiences, whether it's our own or other people that we watch. So,
How
me
to be
as
women.
a woman and as a mother, I chose to do certain things in my life when I started to have children because I didn't want my children to deal with certain things. I didn't want the hurt to come from me. I didn't want the hurt to come from their fathers, whoever it was. Whatever my children needed and wanted, regardless of whether the father did or didn't do, they were going to have. But one thing I've
Absolutely.
always said, because one thing I did see, and I guess that's one of those learned things, was even though my mom and dad weren't together, I still had my mom and my dad. They were both very active in my life. So I always wanted to make sure that my children, whether the mom and dad was together or separate, they still had the door of opportunity to have a relationship with their mother and their
And
father.
the father.
You know,
Absolutely.
and my dad, as a man with all these many outside children, also told us, hey, never talk bad about your child's father to the child, right? That's something that he instilled in me. So that was something that was taught, right? And that was something that I learned. So regardless of how mad my children's father might have made me, I never spoke bad about them. Any feelings or experiences that my children had about their father 100% came from their own experiences and their
Absolutely.
own dealings with their fathers. Nothing bad comes from me.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
as go ahead.
And I guess that's what I was saying about both. There's a mixture of taught and observed behavior because I guess it goes like even if you were working at a job or something, there's traits that you take from a good boss that you'll
Mhm.
instill in yourself, like, oh, okay, this is what I want to do if I'm ever in charge of somebody. And then there's things that you want to be like, okay, no, I'm leaving it there. I think that's the same when it comes to a woman or a mother or a wife.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everything is not going to work for everybody. So
Right.
you got to figure out what's going to work for me in my household. What's going to work for me as a woman? What boundaries do I need to put up in order to keep my sanity or my peace?
Right.
Absolutely. You know what I've learned at being a wife, a divorcee. I've been married twice, divorced twice, but proposed to four times. So don't get on here thinking, oh shit, don't nobody want her. One of y'all fucking kids wanted me. Either way, moving
Right.
on. Moving on. But
Right. I get it.
even in my marriage, I had to. I feel like now at 43, I wish I had stuck to my boundaries. I really do
Hmm.
because even though I was married the first time, the first conversation I had with my second husband was, "This is what happened the first time. This is what hurt me the first time." And I think having those conversations mean what? Because the
Don't do
nigga turn
that
around
this
and do the
time.
same fucking shit. They turn around and do the same fucking shit I just told you the other person did. So I don't even
Right.
understand why we
Right.
jump into
Right.
relationships saying, well, what happened in your last relationship? Why does it even matter? Because it's not like you gonna take for what I said to heart and be like, you know what, I'm gonna
Right.
make sure I don't lie to her. I'm gonna make sure I communicate with her properly. So speaking of communication, remember we talked about communication as far as
One thing that I learned
texting.
now that you say and now you're speaking that, like, I think we as women also have to understand when to walk away because sometimes we
Yes,
hold on to what could be or the potential when it
We
comes
try to
to,
make
absolutely,
seasons
especially when it comes
lifetimes
to
when they only
relationships
supposed
and
to be
marriages.
seasons.
absolutely.
Exactly. And I had to learn that with my child's father because, I want to be there with him, but at the same token, it's almost like, do I want to sit and let my son believe or think that this is the way, a relationship is supposed to go when it's not?
And sometimes we stay for all the wrong reasons. I won't lie to you. We do.
Yep.
My my second marriage, I got married just for my kids. I got married because I wanted to have a better life for
Right.
them. I don't think I've done any goddamn thing for me. I don't even think I've chosen a job because it was something I wanted. I chose the job because I got to get out here to do what I have to do for my kids because even though they have fathers, when the fathers fall short, I don't have anything to say back, even though they swear up and down, oh, you should no, my kids got their opinion from you. Everything you did,
Mhm.
everything you didn't do, they got it from you, not from me. Because I'm still
Yeah.
living down the one time I told my son's father. One time I told him he couldn't get my son. I'm living that shit down 27 years later. The one time. And let's be real. You didn't see my son. You didn't come get him. You didn't do anything for him. And then Thanksgiving came around and you said, oh, well, my grandmama's in town. Can I come get him? No, can't play daddy today, but play
Mhm.
daddy a different day. But you won't wait until the holidays come around and family come to visit and pretend like you daddy. You haven't been daddy the whole time. So I said, no, you can't come get my son and pretend like you've been daddy. And I've been living that shit down for 27 years. Well, you told me no. I did. I
Well,
did.
I felt that way too, like the first few years because my child's father was not active for a long time. Like just recently, within a year or two, became very active. So I mean, it definitely takes a some time to mature into that, especially
Yeah,
knowing the hard work that goes into you having to put in the blood, sweat, and tears financially and emotionally to take care of a child by yourself because it is a lot.
it's a
So
lot.
like you said, I was like you too, but the older that you get, you have to end up thinking like, okay, you made this child too. I need some me time too. Especially the older that they get and they're able to voice, what's going on around them and their surroundings. Like, absolutely, come get him. You need to
Absolutely.
experience this too.
So I actually was on the opposite side of both of you all. I was that one that was I was adamant that whenever my children's father called, I didn't care if, as long as I didn't have nothing already planned and purchased and paid for tickets. If they called and said, "Hey, I want to get them," I'm like, "Okay, I'll have them ready. When you coming?" I'd get them ready. But I was looking at it in a different perspective. I tried to take my emotions completely out of it, right? I'm not saying that y'all's were in it. I'm saying that I took mine out. So when I took my emotions out, what I did was I said, I have to have my children formulate their opinions of their parent, their other parent on their own. So the days that Malik's father was supposed to come get him and I got him dressed and he sat by that door and waited for his dad and his dad never showed. Yes, I felt bad as a mother because I knew his dad wasn't really coming, but he told him he was coming. So I'm going to dress my baby up and have my baby waiting for his
Right.
father because that experience that my son went through is something I didn't give to him. That's something his father gave to him. That's something him and
Right.
his father's going to have to talk about. So I didn't care if it wasn't a something I paid for already, like already came out of pocket for. Hey, baby, you can call today. I ain't talked to you for
Hmm.
3 years. If you call today and say, hey, I want to get them and I want to take them around my family because we having family dinner or whatever, and my grandma in town. Okay, I have them ready. What time you coming to get them?
We'll see.
But and I'm not knocking parents who do it the opposite way. But what it did for me, I see
Hmm.
the back end now, right?
Hmm.
Back end now is I don't have that, and I'm not saying that anybody else does. I'm just speaking on me once
Oh
again.
yeah, we
I
get it.
don't have that bitterness with his father. I don't have that bitterness with my child about their relationship. And when my
Hmm.
son now 300 pounds, 6'2", and his father walks up to him and say, "I said," he like, hold on, no, that ain't how that works. Now
Right.
you got to build a relationship with a grown man versus a child. It's a whole lot harder to do it that way. But
Absolutely.
now you can't talk about me. You can't talk about
Hmm.
me to my child. You can't say your mama kept you from me. No, because I remember sitting there waiting myself at that door and you never came and got me. I remember when my mama did this. I remember when my mama did this. I remember when you said and my mama prepared and you didn't do. So now that conversation of answering questions is between the child and the father, and I'm out of it.
Right.
Right.
And I get it. Absolutely. And eventually I became that person. But that's why I'm saying the one time I told him no, I'm still living that shit down
Mm-hmm.
27 years later. But I told you no for a reason. I told you no because you were not an active parent. I told you no because you didn't do certain things. I told you no because you only paid $53 a month in child support. Only paid $53 a month in child
I
support.
mean, I got one
But
that
guess
pays
what?
$7. But what I'm
But
saying,
but guess what? But I had to learn, like what you're saying, I had to learn to allow my son to see his father for who his father was.
Mhm.
When I did that out of my emotions. I did. The first time I did it because I felt like,
You was
first
mad
of
because
all,
he wasn't helping you.
I was mad because no, because he didn't have to help me. I was married.
But I'm saying y'all had that baby together. So when two people have a baby together,
But
that's
no,
two
baby,
people's responsibilities
I get you,
regardless.
but I wasn't mad that he wasn't helping me. I was mad that he wasn't taking the time to spend as much time with my son as he could. My son lived 10 minutes away from him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to come get him, you would come get him. I felt like for you to say, hey, it's Thanksgiving. I know I haven't seen him in a couple of months, or I know I haven't called him in a couple of months, but it's Thanksgiving and my grandmother's here from out of town. You don't get to pretend in front of grandmama. Not on Thanksgiving Day. No. That's why I said no. No.
But what I'm
Nigga,
saying is,
no.
you said no out of your
But
feelings.
I said no because of the situation, baby. Because if you had a call the day before or after Thanksgiving or any other time, any of those couple of months that you didn't see him, I would have said, sure, come get him. I just didn't feel like it was your place to say, hey, it's Thanksgiving because first of all, he's been with me the whole time. So why would I give you my son for Thanksgiving to sit around your grandmother and you pretend like you've been his daddy the whole time?
Okay, so can I ask you
You
a
were
question?
not.
Can I ask you a question? Because I love you to death. Because
Go
I'm a
ahead.
single mama too, right?
Go ahead.
But you took away your son's experience with his grandmother.
Hmm.
Bump the baby daddy or the child's father. It was the son's experience with the grandmother.
I
The-
understand. You're absolutely correct. You're
okay.
absolutely correct. Now, if the grandmother had to call me and say, "Hey, I'm in town. Can I see my great grandson?" Yes, but the father didn't have a place, baby, because you had the opportunity to do this shit before Thanksgiving. You had the opportunity to do this shit before the grandmama showed
And
up.
you're right, but he didn't have a push either. He didn't have a push before. The grandmother
I
was the
get it.
push.
Grandmama was the push for you to
Grandmother
say,
was the
"Hey,
push.
let me go pretend like I'm there."
And see,
Sure.
my situation was totally opposite, even from Tangela's, because my situation was to the point that you didn't even call to ask to come pick up your child. You didn't even call to see, hey, how was my son doing? It was nothing like that. It was almost like you were non-existent.
Right.
So it's almost like
You got to
you
get to
weren't
know
putting
him.
it right. You weren't putting in the effort, and I wasn't reaching out either because I was too busy trying to take care of our child financially and emotionally. So I don't have the energy. I mean, when I did come home, like you said, I'm not going to punish the grandmother. I did try to reach out to her and be like, "Hey, we're in town. Do you want to come see your grandson or whatever?" Or I would take him over there if she was
Hmm.
home. But it's almost like it's already hard enough raising a child, so I'm not gonna follow behind you too to try to build that relationship if you don't want that. And I didn't even have him on child, still not on child support.
I mean,
Because you're hoping they're gonna do what they're supposed to do. And but here's another thing too. What happens when you have a child that you can prove? And I say prove because y'all, when I tell you paternity court is all about the women, we got a whole motherfucking show, paternity court, where we have to prove who the fuck we slept with. You hear me? This shit is crazy. I watch this shit every day.
she do, and I be like, "Are you
Crazy.
serious, T?"
I be like,
I be acting
no,
like I
because
don't want to see it, but I be like, "Text me and tell me if he the baby daddy."
if he's the baby daddy, because I'd be concerned. I'd be like, them women be standing out there like, I'm 100% sure that I
I
ain't
be
sleep
feeling
with
so
nobody else. And
sorry
when the
for
shit
them
come back and they be
men.
like, he's not the father, but this dude has spent 18 years paying for it, I'd be confused.
Right.
I think everybody should have a DNA test. But let's be real. So say for instance, like in my situation, my son, I have a DNA test on all of my kids. So we know that you are the father. And I had no issue with that. So the mama, the grandmama, the uncles, the aunties, if y'all know that this is y'all niece, y'all nephew, y'all grandbaby, why don't y'all take the initiative to have a relationship with me in order for you to have a relationship with that child? Because I get that father ain't doing what he needs to do. We get that. We get that he's not gonna come get the child, but why do you not have a conversation or a relationship with that woman? Why do y'all not do it? Shouldn't
I
you
think
have a
I think
relationship?
it goes back to when the world changed and everybody started minding their own business instead of being a village raising a child. You
A
get what I'm
village.
saying? I think
Yes,
that's when it changed. So people start minding their own. Well, shoot, if he don't say it's his child or he don't do what he's supposed to do with it, I ain't gonna do what I'm supposed to do with it. There are those like that, but some of us are blessed to have others that are actually active in the child's life when the father is absent. So
absolutely. Now I
you
commend my
have those.
grandmothers. My
You
kids'
have those.
grandmothers, they have been a blessing. I won't lie to you. They have
Hmm.
been a blessing. Even my son's grandmother. When I was pregnant with him, she made sure she showed up. She made sure she even if she couldn't write me but a $50 check, y'all. I was emancipated at 16 years old. Emancipated by a judge because I had to find a place for me and my son at the time to live. But his mama pulled up and she wrote me a check. It wasn't but $50, but she wrote me a check. My rent wasn't but $150. I bet y'all can't remember that shit. My
I don't
first
think
apartment
I don't think my
cost
rent was
me
ever $150.
$150,
Ever,
and
baby.
it was a one bedroom.
$400,
It was a one
$500.
bedroom. But guess what? But his grandmama showed up. His whenever she could, she showed up to give me what she could for that baby, even
Baby,
if
I
her
wish I
son
could say
couldn't.
that. Because I don't have no relationship with nobody on his side. Even now to this
Oh
day, the
my
only
God.
person that I talk to is his dad. Hey, is Jay, can I get Jay for the weekend? Absolutely. I don't talk to grandmas on either one, no sides, aunties, uncles, cousins,
Oh my goodness.
nothing.
Is that
There
by
is
choice?
That's my choice. Yeah, because his side of the family, I feel like that his family, I'm supposed to just beg and reach out. No, that's your job. As the father on that side of the family, it's your job to be like, hey, my aunt wants to see or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to be opposed to letting you, that's your child. He needs to know that that side of the family as well, not just my side. My side is going to step every
Yeah.
time. That's who's been the support system since the day he was
And
born.
that's why I say it falls on the aunts too. These aunts need to start reaching out to that you and say, hey, I know you and him don't have the best relationship, but I want to spend some time with my nephew. They should do that.
Right. And it's
They
crazy
should
because
absolutely
even
do that.
before the kid was here, I was had the aunts numbers. You know, they fell out with me after the baby was born. The aunts and the mama. I used to talk to the mama all the time. But
And I
I don't
guarantee
talk to
it's
none
from
of them.
some shit that he said. Most of the time, it's some shit that he said. And instead of them being grown enough to say, hey, you know what? Can we have a conversation? As
Right.
women, we need to sit down and have a conversation because I
But
don't want my grandson or my nephew not to know me.
Right. And I mean they're the type of the family, which don't get me wrong, it ain't a bad thing, but it's a bad thing in certain situations that you have his back no matter what. But at the end of
Mm,
the day, that's where we fail as women because
but
we're
see,
taking
yeah,
up and upholding the men in wrongdoings, even
when
when it
they know
comes
they
to
wrong.
but this
handling the
is
responsibilities.
But this is where I'm confused with that with people in general, not you or her. I'm talking about people in general. So if y'all children's family is listening to him and he has an issue and they have an issue with you, that's none of their business because what you and him had going on is y'all business. Only thing they need to be worried about is building a relationship with that child, which is now their family, right?
Yep.
Right.
So I don't. That's why I don't
But it's
partake
crazy
in
that
that.
you say that because I don't understand that either. Because the
Mm-hmm,
same way that they have when the family has an issue with the child's mother, not
mm-hmm,
knowing or probably knowing that it's affecting the child, they do it
uh-huh.
anyway. Because I see it,
Yeah.
even I experience it even with my sister and her ex-husband. They don't talk to her or the child or try to reach out to see the child because of the relationship that they have with my sister, which is
And see, and
it's
Mm,
that's
crazy.
crazy because now you punishing a child for something they too young to even know what the heck going on.
Absolutely,
And I think
absolutely,
that our children should know their families so that we can keep away from
right.
the incest stuff instead of later on your
exactly.
son or your daughter coming home with a new boyfriend they done fell in love
Whew,
with and she pregnant by and find out that's her cousin or her brother that her daddy had with another woman that you don't know nothing about. That's why
You're
people need
absolutely
to know
right.
who their family is. I don't care if you just
exactly.
pop up to a family reunion to fix you one plate and then leave later and ask
Right,
who is this and who is that. People need to know
We
who they
need
folks
to.
is.
right.
That's
We need
a
to.
must, and that's why I'm adamant. You can when I do stuff for my kids, like for their birthdays, if I do something for my kids for their birthday, I invite the father. As long as the father's significant other know how to
Mhm.
act, she is invited. If y'all got kids together, bring that because that's my child's sibling. Bring your child. Bring your child. Because baby, I don't
Key
want
word, know how to act.
I don't want
Mm,
them. But you
Right,
come here acting ignorant. I'll
right,
show you how this professional can get really, 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 really
right.
unprofessional.
And I think that's where I
Yeah.
have the issue. I think that's where I have the issue too when it comes to, my child father's girlfriend. Because when I was working in the Navy and I worked on weekends, he would come down to keep his son while I was at work because I worked on Saturdays and Sundays. But
Mm-hmm.
he would tell me about, she mad because I'm down here taking care of him. Like,
fuck.
okay, we got an issue right there. Like, she has an issue with you taking care of your child. I have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should have a problem with it because guess what? You could have came too, motherfucker. Come
Right. And
too.
I guess
If
she
that's the
she
case.
assumed that if he comes down here, I'm messing with him, baby. I can rest assure you I'm not. This is strictly co-parenting.
But see what a lot of now let me tell you, I think that falls on the significant, like your baby daddy. That falls on him to reassure his
Hmm.
woman that it
Exactly.
ain't nothing. That's not my job. I
Exactly.
don't want them, but
The
I am,
men
and
don't know
that's
how to set
why,
up them boundaries.
right, you have to set boundaries. That's why with my children's fathers, like I'm gonna tell you now, I don't have no issues with their significant. It's only one of my children's fathers that I don't fool with his significant
Your
other, and
significant
that's
other.
only because of the way she has treated my child. So it's
Yeah,
best for us
right.
not to be around each other because
Rightfully so.
you know what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with
Absolutely.
them being together. Because I wish y'all the blessed peace and happiness and all that good shit, right? Because I don't
Right.
want them. Trust
Right.
me, I don't want them. So I personally have always been one, like I said, if I do something, I invite them. When my
Hmm.
oldest son's baby had her first birthday party, me and his father got together and planned and decorated everything. I called his old lady. I was like, Tasha, you gonna come help? She was like, girl, I gotta work, but when I get off, I'll be over there. So I don't have no, like, we ain't gotta be friends.
Right.
Me and your significant other ain't got to be friends because we ain't friends. We didn't meet each other and be like, oh, we homegirls. Nah, dog. But I need you to understand, I don't want him, and I need you to be cool. And if you love my child and love my child's child, then baby, we cool. We
Mm-hmm.
cool. We can be in the same space. We can chill. We gonna be cordial because we have a common denominator, which is
Right.
the love of my child. Right.
Right.
All the
Right.
rest of that I don't care. As long as you don't mistreat
Exactly.
mine, me and you'll be cool as 4 flat tires, baby, on a Sunday.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
if you mistreat my child, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, you might have to lock your own doors and then sleep with one
Right.
eye open in your own
And
house.
so that's why I'm not comfortable because of the comments that you already making. Like, you think
Yeah,
I want my
Yeah.
child around somebody that's already making comments like that?
yeah,
No.
I'm so
yeah.
glad I ain't never had that issue. I ain't never had that issue, y'all.
Baby, it's a
With
blessing. Okay.
the significant other of the baby mama, because I was the first. Well, no, my first husband, he had one son before me, so my child was his second. But all the rest of them, that my child was their first child.
But I'm saying, T, all of
So
mine are the first two, but they
right,
later on, you still gonna have
so
an issue.
later
Right.
on,
Possibility.
they have other girlfriends, they have other kids, and I've never had issues with any of them. Like if they bring the kids over to the house, bring the kids over to the house. Kids are kids.
Kids a
I
kid.
didn't even have no issue with saying, "Hey, give me her phone number. I'll call her and I'll go pick the baby up before you get home." I
Right,
had no issue with any of that.
right. Mm-hmm.
They don't like me.
And that's my biggest thing is
I don't know why they
the
don't like
kids
me.
shouldn't be in the middle of the adults drama.
They
You
should
Mm-hmm.
know,
not.
they should only know that, hey, this daddy, I'm going to chill with daddy, this is mama, I'm gonna chill with mama. But all this extra drama, it shouldn't even happen. And if it is drama in between, if the mom is the one that can nip it in the bud, you need to do so. If the
Absolutely.
man needs to come in and put his foot down and step boundaries to protect that child's relationship with the mother and father, it needs to happen.
Hmm. You
I
gotta
agree.
you gotta set boundaries because you can't disrespect each other at all.
Right. Right.
I don't have anything bad to say about your mama when you come over here because your mama, she has
Hmm.
nothing to do with this household,
Right.
nothing. But when you get here, you're gonna be treated and respected as one of the siblings. You just a
Right.
child, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to bad talk around kids because kids gonna see it. They're gonna make their own and formulate their own opinion.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's why when you're taught to be a woman, when you grow up into womanhood or motherhood or wifehood, whatever hood you sitting in today, we know that at the end of the day, the child is innocent. So there's no
Right.
need. Me as a woman, what am I as a woman? I'm a woman that's gonna love these children. I'm not gonna mistreat them. Right? I'm not gonna
Mhm.
mistreat them. If your child bad as hell and I don't want to do it, I'm gonna tell you they can't come over here. Go see
So,
your baby over there. Okay? I'm
Right.
gonna be honest with you.
yep. Because if you don't want me to if you
I
don't want
want
me
you
to
to
spank
spend
their
time.
asses,
I
they
want you
can't
to
come
spend
Exactly.
here.
time with your child,
Exactly.
but go over there. Cause see, you don't believe in ass whoopings. Y'all don't believe in guidance. Y'all co-parent together over there. Okay?
Right.
I
Absolutely.
don't mind that.
Absolutely.
Now,
Right.
I've always been big on because I'm gonna love the children regardless, all children. But in this house. there's rules to every child that walk in this house, and it don't change based on who your mama and daddy is, right?
So
Because this
don't.
house is mine. So the
Mhm.
rules are given to all of y'all badasses. Every child get a rule, right? Y'all
Right.
get all the same rules. I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna make sure you have fun because I love to play with the kids. I love to play games. I love for us to do things. We gonna go stuff. We gonna spend up all my little bitty duckies and coins. We gonna have fun. But if
Right.
you bad, I'm gonna take you back to your mama and your dad and them because I don't do bad kids. I don't do grown kids. I don't do none of that
Mhm.
because I'm a
Right.
grown woman. So I'm not gonna argue with a child. I ain't gonna deal with a child that flip around on the floor hollering and screaming and baby,
Oh
keep them
shit.
at home.
And as
Woo.
long as
See?
everybody is getting that treatment, a parent shouldn't have no
Shouldn't have
problem
no
with that.
issues about it.
Because baby,
None.
ain't nobody getting mistreated. Everybody's getting ass whooping.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody getting ass whoopings, absolutely. But hey, we have to deal with those ones that be like, "Well, I don't know what you're doing when you over
Don't hit
there."
my
Then
kid.
come
Well,
on
you
over,
come get
honey.
pick your
Come
bad
get
ass child up.
your
Cause I know what you do. I got rid of him for a reason.
Because you're not gonna influence my child to misbehave.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, I love you, sisters. I love you. I love you. I love you. So that wraps up our very first episode of Cooking and Cackling. See how we did that? If you like the video, like, subscribe, share with a friend. And hey, men, we would love to hear your perspective. We would love to know what you think because we are a group of women that we don't know all the answers. We don't have all the answers, but we know what we will and won't accept. That's it. If we have to be single, we're going to be single. If we want to be married, we're going to be married. But hey, we're going to do it on our terms. That's it. Like and share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.